So American scientists are now fleeing the U.S. and they're going to France in order to continue their climate work. You know, in the U.S., there's no more grants really for stuff like this, and there's an administration that's openly hostile to climate science. So scientists here are like, wow, what a shitty environment. We can't get anything done. And now they have to go elsewhere to try to do the same kind of research. So this is from The Hill. French President Emmanuel Macron's climate science initiative, Make Our Planet Great Again, that's pretty good trolling, has attracted 6 more U.S.-based scientists to do their research in Europe. CNN reported Wednesday that the 6 U.S.-based scientists were selected as part of a larger group of 14 given grants to study climate science and biodiversity. The grant winners hail from U.S. universities like Duke, Yale, Florida State, and MIT. The $70 million initiative was created last year after President Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement. The joint initiative between France and Germany offers the international community an opportunity to conduct their research at European institutions. Trump said he pulled out of the international agreement because it was unfair to U.S. interests. The U.S. is the only country in the world that is not supporting it. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Syria and Nicaragua, was it, that they had not signed on to the Paris Climate Agreement. Now, what's fascinating is Nicaragua said, hey, we're not going to sign on to it because it needs to be stronger. It's too weak. So they were against it from a left-wing position of this needs to be better. And then Syria was against it because they were in the middle of a civil war and they didn't send somebody to the delegation and they weren't invited to the delegation when the negotiations happened. Well, since then, Nicaragua was like, okay, we're not going to get anything better than this. We'll jump into it. We'll accept this deal. And then Syria, in the midst of their civil war, was still like, okay, yeah, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to accept it. U.S. is the only country in the world that has not accepted the Paris Climate Agreement. What does that say about the intelligence level of the elite conservatives in our country, or how corrupt they are because they're so bought by big oil and fossil fuel companies? What does that say about them compared to even conservatives in other countries are like, yeah, of course, we have to not fucking destroy the planet. But U.S. conservatives are like, fuck it, I don't care at all. Fuck that shit. So that's incredibly sad. But what's interesting is they don't this is stupid even by their standards, because here's the deal, man. Even if you don't think like, oh, climate change is a big problem and we need to do something to fight back against it, even if you don't believe that, and they don't, you would still want to have scientists in the U.S. working on these issues. Why? Because scientists are going to create the technology that will inevitably be patented in the future that gives us the clean and renewable energy economy that we're all going to have to transition to. So what they're doing is, because they're so anti-science, these scientists are fleeing and going to Europe where they're more pro-science, and now they're going to create the technologies of the future over there, and they're going to be the ones to get the patents, and we're going to be lagging behind the rest of the world. So if they believe in the U.S. being a superpower, which they do, you would want these people to be here so that we get the patents for these technologies of the future. If you believe in the free market, which they do, what's going to happen with a lot of these technologies that are created? They create it, and then companies step in, and they buy the rights to that technology, and then it becomes part of the market. But when you let all the scientists flee because you're a fucking idiot, the result is the market suffers, our position of strength in the world suffers, and you're basically giving away the future to other countries to have them lead going into the future. Like, they're so dense and they're so stupid. They don't get it and they don't care. Because they get their money from big oil, they get their money from fossil fuel companies, they're beholden to those companies, but also I think they really have started to believe the propaganda that climate change is fake and we don't even need to get off fossil fuels, and so now the rest of the world is moving ahead. Europe's going to be way ahead of us on green and renewable technology, and we're going to be lagging behind the rest of the world, and that's really pathetic and really sad, because all you need is to care enough about the U.S. being a superpower and to care enough about the free market, And you should have kept those grants in place and kept the scientists here. But now your administration is so hostile to science that scientists are literally fleeing the U.S. so that they can continue to work on science. That is beyond pathetic. That's super sad. And unfortunately, it shows that there 100% will be a post-American future. In some ways, that's a good thing. You know, our fucking military actions are grotesque everywhere around the world, and I can't wait for our militarism and our imperialism to stop. But in other ways, like our economy, like, you're just giving away the next big boom. You're giving away the next scientific boom, economic boom to other countries because you're too stupid to realize that there will be a renewable and green technology boom at some point.